Remember when every house in America looked like a villa in Tuscany? Even if you lived in the middle of, I don't know, Idaho? Warm yellow walls, dark wood cabinets, random grapes everywhere, the bottles of vegetables and oil that nobody used and they were just for decoration. Yeah, what was that about? Hi everyone, welcome back, and today we're talking about my favourite aesthetic, probably my most favourite in the whole world. Well, maybe my second favourite. So today we're talking about the rise and fall of the 2000s Tuscan aesthetic. The 2000s Tuscan aesthetic, or the Y2K, wine mom, you know, that aesthetic, you get it. So the Tuscan aesthetic was an interior design trend of the early 2000s, and it was inspired by rural Italy, I cannot say that word, and it was inspired by rural Italy, specifically Tuscany, but like a heavily Pinterest filtered version of it. It was very filtered. It was cozy, dramatic, and some would say a little bit extra. This didn't just happen randomly, there were reasons. One of them was escapism. Early 2000s culture loved the idea of European luxury and slow living. People wanted their homes to feel like a holiday that they never had to leave. Which honestly sounds amazing. And when you look at these homes, I kind of get why. Like, it kind of does feel like you're in Italy or something. I've never been to Italy, so I wouldn't know what it feels like to be in Italy. The second reason would be TV and media influence. Shows like lifestyle channels and home makeover channels push this aesthetic hard because suddenly everybody needed a Tuscan kitchen or just a Tuscan house in general, because at the time it was like beautiful, and I think it still is, and a lot of people on social media still do. Side note, there's this one person on TikTok who is like reviving the Tuscan aesthetic in her house, and well, I'm obsessed with it. Her name is Emily Lulame. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Lulame. I don't know how to say it. Sue me. But oh my god, I love watching her videos of like her going to like Goodwill and finding like Tuscan like aesthetic stuff. Oh my god, it's so good. Tea break. Reason number 3 would be the McMansion era. The best era, some would say. This style fit perfectly with those big, overly sized houses, which honestly, people don't need that big of a house. And now looking back at it, those houses are small compared to the houses being built today. I don't know why this is an example, but like take a look at the Kardashians. Look at Kris Jenner's old house. This one, the most iconic house in TV history, some would say. And now look at her new one. It's houses today are very open plan, and I don't know if I liked that. I prefer like more closed off spaces, because I've never had like an open plan kitchen, but I can just imagine like the smells, like the cooking smells traveling throughout the entire house. These McMansion houses always had like high ceilings, open kitchens, big dining spaces, and they needed something dramatic to fill it. So the Tuscan aesthetic was like the best era to do this. Now we're on to the height of the Tuscan era. This was around 2003 to like 2008, and builders were literally designing houses with this look in mind. Also, if your kitchen during this time didn't have one decorative grape arrangement, what were you doing? Where were you even living? Because it wasn't the Tuscan aesthetic. Everything was warm. Like, aggressively warm. The lighting was almost orange, which I low-key love. Then things began to shift. It for some people it started to feel dated really fast because it was quite dark and cluttered, and more people were going towards like an open, airy, like brighter aesthetic, you know? People got tired of like the dark cabinets, the busy decor, and the fake rustic finishes. It went from cozy villa to why is my kitchen so dark? By the 2010s, everything has just flipped. Suddenly it was white walls, grey floors, minimal decor, light wood or no wood at all. Think millennial grey. That's basically what it is. I hate millennial grey. I despise it.
Where's the flavor?
The Tuscan aesthetic didn't evolve, it just got replaced, which it's kind of sad. But lately there has been a lot of people like wanting to bring it back, which I'm loving seeing actually. It's really cool to see. Like it's well, I was gonna say it's more of like a modern take on Tuscan, but it's really not. They're literally just recreating what was trending back in the 2000s. I've actually been loving Tuscan houses so much that I've started to build one. I've started to build them in like The Sims and Bloxburg and Roblox even. So I found some pictures on the aesthetic wiki, which I don't know why this is my source, but yeah, this image right here is it's honestly perfect because that is basically the furniture that you would find in a typical like Tuscan house. It's always these types of sofas with like that weird, not weird, but like that like kind of like dark fabric, and you can tell why it looked old fast. And I would say this would be your typical Tuscan aesthetic kitchen that you would find in someone's house during this era. The cabinets are quite dark, and there's a lot of like beige. That's the only words that I can really find to describe this. Dark wood and beige. So the Tuscan aesthetic didn't just disappear. In its prime, it was great. It took over literally everybody's house. Specifically in, I think, Florida and California. Even to this day, there's still some Tuscan houses there. And then it just went, and everyone went millennial grey, which I hate. And honestly, it walked so modern interiors could run. So, would you bring it back, or are we leaving grapes in 2005? Let me know down in the comments below. And I will see y'all in the next one, which I don't know what video it'll be yet, because it's been like 3 weeks since I uploaded a video. See ya!